The city of Springfield recently dedicated a memorial at Riverfront Park to the first responders killed on September 11, 2001. The theme is Forever in Our Hearts. The memorial includes a 10-foot beam from the World Trade Center in New York City, which was brought down when two commercial airliners hit the North and South Towers. Brad Blakeman, who was a member of President George W. Bush's senior White House staff, lost his nephew, Thomas Jurgen, at the Trade Center. Jurgen was a court officer who ran into the building to rescue people. Blakeman attended the dedication ceremony for the Springfield Memorial with Thomas's brother Joey, and he shared his experience with Carolee McGrath.
Joey decided he wanted to serve and follow in the footsteps of his brother, so he decided the best way would become a New York City fireman. And he took the test, he waited, his number came up, and as luck would have it, his first assignment was to Ladder 1, which is the first responding house to the Trade Center. So he got to serve that area. And then he became a lieutenant. But Joey is a highly decorated fireman. He received the third highest medal in the New York City Fire Department for rescuing people in a fully engulfed building. He's done it twice in two separate instances. So there's a special kind of person who would do that. So Tommy's spirit lives in his brother, who came to this dedication here in Springfield yesterday.
Yes, tell me about your thoughts of this dedication. I know you were there with Joey. Here we are, almost 18 years later, in small Western Mass city of Springfield. How meaningful is this for you?
It's very meaningful because you have a slogan, "The Spirit of Springfield." Well, that was quite evident not only yesterday, but in the planning, the 11 years and more of planning to get a relic of the World Trade Center, a beam, and then place it with the names of the first responders, so far removed from the actual event, both in time and space. But I think you realize here in Springfield that what happened in New York and Pennsylvania and Virginia could have happened here. And if people and children and residents and leaders don't remember the past, then you're condemned to repeat it. And the remembrance of the people, the first responders, is an important lesson in civics and humanity and in patriotism. So it was an honor for me to be here to honor my nephew and his cousin Paul, who was also killed, and for Joey, Port Authority cop, and to have Joey represent his family, and for me to be there. But we appreciate the people of Springfield, the citizens who raised the money, the leaders who took on the cause. I understand it first started with a fire chief and a police chief, and then the entire community got behind it. And they wouldn't take no for an answer. They wanted a piece of the Trade Center. And finally, in 2011, I understand it was delivered. But the symbolism, the respect, the simplicity of the monument speaks volumes. It's amazing.
When you look back on that day and on the days following 9/11, in my observation, I have never seen America more together. People, helping each other in ways that you just, there was no bitterness, there was no political foes. Everybody was American. Everybody was there to reach out, to their neighbor, family members. We've come a long way since that. There's a lot of bitterness if you look at the news in politics. Some people get discouraged. How would you encourage people not to be discouraged, about our country?
Well, I think the underlying current in America is the same. The goodness of America is constant. We just maybe don't see it enough. And what we're seeing within the Beltway is not something that gives us much hope sometimes, very divisive. But I will say, when you get out of the Beltway, it's a lot different. And the spirit of America lives on. And we are helping neighbors, and we're the most charitable nation in the world. So I'm very confident that we always rise above adversity. So I'm not very much discouraged, because I can see beyond that. I've seen the good that people do every day. I see the good they do. I even see politicians who fight necessarily on television who are laughing and eating together in restaurants. So things are not as bad as sometimes they're perceived to be.